Presidential nominees hitting the trail as good news on jobs hits the headlines. The U.S. adding 255,000 of them in the month of July. So with things improving, which nominees' plan will keep it going? Hi, everybody. I'm Dagen McDowell in for Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. Donald Trump will be rolling out his plan on Monday, and now a new report on Hillary Clinton's proposals claims she will deliver a massive tax hike of $1.3 trillion. Will that deliver a blow to the job market? The Bulls and Bears this week, Gary B. Smith, Jonas Max Ferris, John Layfield, along with Katie Pavlich and Jessica Tarlov. Welcome to everybody. Katie, can the economy afford a tax hike like this?
Absolutely not. And Hillary Clinton talks about being the champion of the middle class, but the fact is that she wants $1 trillion in tax increases. Many of them may not be paid directly by the middle class, but will certainly be paid by the middle class through a lack of job increases. Now, politically, this is why Republicans have been beating their head against a wall for 2 weeks now, because Donald Trump, according to polling this week, every single indication was that Hillary was ahead of him, except for in the area of the economy. And so he said he's had plans. He's coming out with a plan on Monday. He has to get refocused on the economic agenda.
Gary B. Smith, this plan looks exactly like what we've gotten over the last 7.5 years. It is tax hikes. It is a lot more spending, and that's delivered economic growth that is the worst since at least 1949.
Exactly, Dagen. Look, I think voters need to ask themselves if they really think the last 8 years were good for themselves and good for the economy, then they should vote for Hillary. Because, as you said, Hillary is proposing, what, a $1.3 trillion stimulus, if you will. Well, what was the last stimulus we had? It was about $1 trillion. She's proposing infrastructure spending. We heard that with shovel-ready jobs. She's proposing more spending on health care. We have Obamacare. You know, you add in then the free college, all the Bernie Sanders stuff she adopted. And you basically have, and voters need to think about this, am I better off taking the money that I have and giving it to the government for them to spend? And if the answer is yes, I would just ask them one question. What part of the government do they think spends their money more efficiently and effectively than they do? And I think most people would say, wait a second, I spend my money the way I want, and I spend it better. And I'll tell you what, if I spend it on some company that goes out of business, they go out of business on their own. So I think the choice is clear. Donald Trump wants to lower taxes. He's for fair trade. He has some question marks in there. But just looking at it from the macro view, I'd have to say I don't want 8 more years of what we just had.
Jessica, you do.
Oh, I absolutely do, and I'm terrible with my own money, so I'm happy for Hillary Clinton to tell me what to do with it.
Well, there you go. You're the perfect person for her then.
There you go.
Gary B. says he's sick of this infrastructure spending. Donald Trump actually wants double the amount of infrastructure spending of Hillary Clinton. We saw Moody's said that Donald Trump was going to take us into a recession. He was going to cause us 3.5 million jobs lost, bring unemployment back up to 7%. Her appraisal, yes, of course, she'll add to the deficit. Not more than Donald Trump, though, but apparently she's going to grow the economy from 2.3% per year up to 2.7%. I'm not saying that's 4%. We want 4%, of course, but it is an improvement there. And they said that she's going to add over 10 million jobs. It's looking pretty good to me.
Well, Jonas, that Moody's report that Jessica's referring to, they did a number of different scenarios, and the one that she's talking about assumed that that Trump would put in place everything that he's actually said, and it was also authored by somebody who advised President Obama on his stimulus program, and who's also contributed to Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Some questions, you know that guy in late night shows all the question marks on his outfit, or maybe it was there's about that many questions in the policy. Look, I got to, if I had to choose between the two, and I think we can get more information out of Trump in coming weeks, hopefully, but I would say New Deal Trump, because this wall thing I keep coming back to is a FDR-grade project where they used to put bridges on the Merritt under. But it is a shovel program. I mean, you're talking about hiring people. Now, I don't believe targeting jobs is a good policy for either person. You want to target the economy, especially when the job market's really, look, we just got good job numbers. This is not a recession. You don't need to create government jobs unless it's a bad recession. That said, you got a shovel-ready project there. It's enormous. This trade thing, it could go very bad if it starts a trade war. It could lead to less jobs, but it also could go good. Again, there's question marks. There's no specifics, but there are areas in trade that could lead to a situation where there will be more jobs here.
This is an unfair question, Dagen.
John, nothing is unfair on this program. We are fair and balanced always. But to that point, Joan, we got 2 good months of job growth, but we've had the economy growing at 1% the first 6 months of this year. That's what we've gotten under this administration and under the policies that Hillary Clinton wants more of.
Yeah, and not only this administration, actually started under the Bush administration. We've had 10 straight years under 3% growth. That's the first time that's happened since they've measured GDP. This is going to be the 11th year, which is going to break the previous record they just set. It's a record you don't want, by the way. I don't understand Hillary Clinton here. Hillary Clinton should run on Bill Clinton's record, pro-free trade, balanced budget, lower regulation. Instead, after she lost the Michigan primary to Bernie Sanders, she moved massively to the left. And all of a sudden now she wants to punish business. Her words. She wants to go after Wall Street. She wants to increase regulation. She wants to increase government oversight, and she wants to raise taxes. I don't understand why she would not run on her husband's record instead of the past 8 years, and specifically Bernie Sanders. So when you ask whose policy is better, look, it is a problem with trade, Jonas. Remember last time you had an independently wealthy guy running for office as a political neophyte that was against global trade. He put us into a decade-long depression, the entire world, because of what Herbert Hoover did with Smoot-Hawley, and specifically with the tariffs and the protectionism that he had. Overall, Wall Street likes certainty, and there's not much granularity right now with Donald Trump, so I think Hillary Clinton actually gets a little bit of the nod here. I don't like either one. I'm voting for Gary Johnson.
Well, if I were a liberal,
I'm voting for Gary Johnson. I don't like either one.
If I were a liberal, I'd be very offended about that analysis, because you're saying that Hillary Clinton, a woman, the potential first female president of the United States, should run on her husband's record. Don't you think they should be running on her own ideas?
She was there. She's associated with it. No, that is not a feminist statement whatsoever. If you know who my wife is, believe me, I have fought for women's equality on Wall Street for a very long time, and she's done a lot more, I promise you, than you or anybody else has for women's equality on Wall Street. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that she should run on Bill Clinton's record more than she should run against Bernie Sanders and moving to the left.
She's running almost as a neo-socialist, Gary B. Smith. One thing that, if you look at these plans, one thing, her biggest expenditure is the paid family leave, which essentially will turn into another entitlement. And she doesn't want to fix the broken entitlements. Social Security and Medicare will be insolvent in less than 20 years. She wants to expand Social Security and expand Medicare.
Exactly, Dagan. Look, you're right. It's another entitlement program, and I defy anyone to tell me what is not the profitability, but at least the break-even path for any of the entitlement programs. Throw in Social Security, throw in Medicaid, throw in Medicare, throw in this family leave, and you have a country we're already horribly over-leveraged with debt. This just gets us more. 2 more points. One is that earlier was argued for all this great infrastructure. Let us remind people that the New Deal did not get us out of the Depression. We had continuing high unemployment rates. And third, even if you think it did, I defy you to find one government project that came in anywhere near budget and near deadline. What, the Big Dig, the parking lot at the Kennedy Center, the new Department of Homeland Security, all horribly over budget, horribly expensive, not within deadlines, but I guess that's maybe where Jessica wants her money spent.
Poured into a big giant hole. Burned.
Exactly.
Mostly in my shoe closet, actually, at this point. So.
But actually, those shoes will go to the government because they're going to take everything.
If they can wear them and they can walk in them, it's theirs.
Thank you, guys and ladies. Cavuto on Business.